So we're here in Glasgow at the very spooky Holmwood House, and I'm joined by Tim and Jessie from Keane. Hi guys.
How you doing?
Right, so we are in this spooky Holmwood House location, which is a little bit strange. Why have you taken me here?
It does sound quite creepy, doesn't it? Yeah.
Especially because we're in a haunted bedroom. That adds another creepy dimension.
Yeah, it's just normal stuff for us. Yeah, well, you know, we have this song "Disconnected," which is our new single, and it's, you know, I guess the whole idea of it in the first place as a song was, you know, the idea of this sort of malaise kind of creeping into a relationship, I suppose, and you know, the lyrics talk about it creeping into the house and under the door and in through the windows and stuff, and from that we kind of ended up making this horror video with some Spanish directors who directed this amazing horror film, The Orphanage, a few years back, and so around that song in particular, there's become this sort of whole kind of horror thing, and we thought, you know, we could take it even further by trying to give it this kind of physical manifestation and put on a little gig in a very spooky place such as this.
So when you're writing the songs, do you have an idea for the video in your head straight away, or does that kind of come afterwards?
Don't ask me, he writes.
Well, do you?
Well, no, not really. I think, I guess I, like probably a lot of songwriters, think in quite visual terms, and it's, you know, for writing lyrics, it's quite good if you lock onto an idea that's, you know, has quite vivid images in, and that, you know, for me, I have to say that's a particularly quite an unusual one. The idea of this sort of, it feels that whenever I picture it, I think of this sort of green slime kind of oozing under the door in a kind of Ghostbusters style or something like that, and you know, I suppose that's supposed to represent this, you know, things going wrong in
just the normal love life.
Yeah, just the normal stuff. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool that Sergio and Juan Antonio, who made the video, then, you know, they're like the kings of sort of European horror. They're amazing, and they sort of took the whole thing onto a completely different level that, you know, I certainly wouldn't have been able to conceive of myself.
So did you have to go to them and kind of say, right, we've got this idea and you are the only guys that can really help us out with it?
Yeah, well, so I have to admit that I can't watch horror films because I just sort of have, I just, yeah, you know, I wet the bed and, you know.
Are you any better?
I love them. I can't get enough of them. Yeah,
you love them, and Jules loves them.
I like the really terrifying Japanese ones and stuff where they give you nightmares for months.
Like The Ring?
Yeah, and The Grudge and things.
Awful. I'm like you, I'm terrified of them.
Yeah.
I can't even watch Crime Watch.
I do, yeah, I have nightmares and stuff. But and Tom's really into it as well. You know, you'll sort of, a typical scene on the tour bus is that I'll be in the front, you know, watching, like, you know, a documentary about, you know, the First World War or something, and these guys will be in the back watching like all 4 films of, you know, The Omen or whatever it is, and sort of there'll be just lots of screaming and stuff.
I guess it's better than you watching the likes of The Only Way is Essex or Desperate Housewives on the tour bus, so we wouldn't have expected that, put it that way. Well, later on, actually, you're going to be playing games with us and doing a bit of a tour around the house, and I don't know anything about it yet, so I'm guessing there are some spooky surprises in store.
It seemed quite complicated, but I think we just about understood what's going on.
I actually watched you getting your briefing, and you were kind of like, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow here and see what happens. So, new single, Disconnected, then. How are you feeling about the song?
Really excited. It's kind of quite a wild card, I guess, because it's quite a creepy sounding song anyway, but it's so sort of chirpy as well. So it's probably my favourite song on the album, so I really hope it does really well.
And the album, obviously, Strangeland going straight to #1. How did you celebrate the #1?
I'm trying to remember. It probably involved some beer. I don't know, I can't remember where we were. We've just been on tour all year.
A crap day. We were somewhere and we had this awful day where everything was going wrong, all the equipment was breaking or something, and then we all were sort of fed up and just went off to bed. It was like 8 o'clock in the evening. #1! But yeah.
I did read a little fact actually that it's your 5th #1 album, and that equals Coldplay and Radiohead, and beaten only by the Beatles. So have you heard this fact yourself?
Yeah, I've no idea if that's actually true, but it's like somebody said it somewhere, and it's but you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, either way, it's amazing, really. You know, it's you just sort of can't believe that we're still, the people are still sort of sending us to #1. I suppose it's incredible, and also the fact that we've had 5 albums seems quite incredible to me, because I feel like we've only just released the first one, and you know, we're still learning to play our instruments.
How long have you been together as a band then?
I've only been with the band for just coming up to 5 years, I think. You guys have been together since, they've known each other since they were born, so.
Yeah.
You gave me that look as if to say, I have a lot of stories that I could tell.
It just seems like such a long time, but yeah, it's crazy that, you know, also you have to remember that for say, I don't know, 18 years of our lives, we weren't really in a band at all, and then suddenly you find out, you know, it's like, oh, should we have a go at playing some Beatles songs or something, and then it feels like 5 minutes later you're in a spooky house in Scotland with 5 #1s. It's very cool.
Well, we're glad you're here, and obviously the crowd that you're going to be playing for tonight, it's a very small, intimate crowd, probably about 60 odd people, but you're doing this massive world tour right now, so it must be a bit strange to go from, you know, the big venues to something so small and intimate. Is there a big difference in your mind? Do you notice the difference?
I think these are much more scary, because everyone's right there and you can see
We're staring at you.
Yeah. And every mistake isn't covered up by loads of reverb and echo and stuff like that. But it's quite nice to be able to have a bit of a mix and do stuff like this and big gigs, and so you never get bored. It's good.
And where are you off to after you've been in Glasgow then? I know you're coming back to see us later in the year, but where's the next destination?
We're going to Taiwan on Thursday, and then we're in that area for a couple of weeks. I think we're going to Japan and Singapore and Korea and Indonesia,
Philippines, Thailand.
I don't even know where.
It's never dull. Being a Keane is not dull at all, is it?
It's mad. I mean, we've just been in Mexico and Paraguay and Brazil. And, you know, it's incredible. And
the video already for Disconnected has been nominated for a Q Award. So good luck with that. That's obviously very exciting. The video is playing behind us here, and we look forward to seeing you perform the songs live for us tonight. And I look forward to the spooky experiences that you're going to give us in this crazy, scary house.
Good.
So are you, I'm sure. You're like, I don't even know what's happening. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
So we're downstairs in the very spooky Holmwood House, and I'm joined by Richard and Tom from Keane. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for taking me to a scary house. I'm not sure I'm going to say that again in my lifetime. How are you feeling about being here?
Yeah, it's great. It's going to be a fun night.
So why have you taken us to a scary house, first of all?
Well, the video that we made for our new single, Disconnected, was made by a Spanish film director called Jay Berner, who's a kind of, one of the films he made was called The Orphanage, which I'm sure many people have seen, and it's kind of a very spooky psychological thriller, and he's been a big fan of the band, him and Sergio Sanchez, who does screenwriting for him. So anyway, they made a great video for Disconnected, which is kind of centred around a spooky story in a spooky house, and we just felt it would be a really nice thing to do for the fans to kind of create some kind of drama and play a bit of music as well, and this kind of seemed like the perfect setting, so here we are.
I spoke to Tim upstairs, and he said that he doesn't even like scary movies, like he cannot watch a horror movie. Can you watch them? How do you feel about them?
Yeah, I actually love scaring myself witless. I'm like the worst guy at jumping. I was watching The Orphanage for the second time. I should know better. I was watching it on a plane, and I was sat next to a complete stranger, and I just jumped out of my seat at one point. The poor guy, I felt, so I'm rubbish. I love it, but I'm rubbish at it.
At least you can watch them.
Isn't it, with horror films? You should be like, if it's a good one, you should be, trying to bury yourself in your seat.
Or looking at your screen through your fingers.
I'm terrible with them. I have to turn them off. Like, I can't watch them. But I'm looking forward to being spooked by you guys tonight a little bit. The video, obviously, for Disconnected, it's been nominated for a Q Award. So, obviously it must be a piece of work that you guys are very proud of.
Oh, we're hugely proud of it. I mean, we didn't have much to do with the genius of the video. We just made the song, but it's the best video we've ever made, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it should win.
I think it should. But when they come to you with the idea for the video, and obviously I'm sure it's all down on kind of paper, and they talk you through it, is it hard to kind of see the concept actually come to life?
Well, actually, I kind of had quite a lot of faith with Jay and Sergio, because they're they've got such a great kind of they've got such great caliber as a team. So we kind of knew that it was going to be great. And in fact, when they kind of wrote out the script for us, I just thought it sounds great, and I just kind of knew that their vision would be perfect, and they'd be able to realise it. So yeah, unlike most videos in which I have no confidence, this was one that I did.
Had you seen the orphanage before you met them then?
Yeah, actually we had. I had. I don't know if you had.
I
But we met them ages ago. I mean, I think we met them in 2008. So we've been sort of becoming friends for a while. And but they're just so talented. And they just made a film called The Impossible with Ewan McGregor in it. So that's coming out this year, I think. So definitely go and check that out too.
And obviously you're doing the performance for us tonight in front of 60 people, very intimate. How does that feel different to this big world tour that you're on right now?
Well, it's nice, because I like doing them, because the songs get stripped back down to very sort of simple form, and it's lovely playing the songs like that. And yeah, we love kind of that very intimate connection with our fans. We've always had that, so it's lovely to gather our favourite Scottish fans in one place.
Well, we're very happy that you're here anyway, so thank you for coming. It's Keane for Clyde 1 at Holmwood House.
102.5.